Okay, so that is about 6 principles of Vedic management in words of Chanakya. Now we are going to learn about the remaining, which is into third unit. Could you able to see the shared screen, ma?
Yes, ma'am.
Corporate Veda essence in Indian ethos. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. We can see the screen, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. So till now we have discussed about some of the Vedas essence, types of Vedas. What is the existence? What is the meaning of the Vedas? And few Vedic management principles also. Right? So we have some approaches in Unit 3, Prem approach of relationship and management, Hope model, Vedas model, such a way we do have some topics within it. So these topics actually exist in the Sattvic leadership. Okay, so this Prem model and Hope model is given under Sattvic leadership. We have a concept of Sattvic. Sattvic means Sattvika. Do you know the meaning for Sattvic?
Patience.
Pleasant, ma'am. Pleasant
Patience,
patience.
pleasant, okay, patient, pleasant, calm, soft. These are the meanings for Sattvic leadership. Okay, Sattvic. So here we have Professor Subhas Sharma. He has developed a framework to give the essence of Indian ethos in terms of few elements. So what does that Sattvic leadership? By using Indian ethos, that means Vedas support and all, he has framed Sattvic leadership. That was actually, he has derived 5 elements in it. One is knowledge seeking ethos, means whenever you are learning, excuse me, would that participate? Okay. So he gave curiosity for learning, first leadership strategy, and spirituality in action. That means whatever the action, whatever the thoughts, that has to be divine in nature. And third one is Prem approach to relationship and management. That means for our followers, to our followers and for our actions, caring and calmness in approach as a leader. And hope is a existence, capability of raising for good. You are being good and you have capability to raise the good. And finally, universal oneness for world connectivity. That means Vasudhaika Kutumbam. Same thing. He has kept in his, that I'm talking about Professor Subhas Sharma, he turned the concept of Vedas in his own elements to derive the Sattvic leadership. So in this, Prem model is also one of that. Prem approach to relationship is one of that, wherein he is explain about that. Uh, this is closely related to the idea of spirituality in action. Okay, so this Prem means, which if we explain the Prem, that is an acronym, purity in relationship with emotionality and mutuality. Okay, Prem stands for purity in relationship with emotionality. Here's spelling mistake. Okay, and mutuality. So this Prem approach always takes us beyond the emotional quotient. We have IQ and EQ, two concepts are there, intelligent quotient and unemotional quotient. So this emotional quotient represents about the feelings of a person. how you are being connected with the other objective. That is about the emotional quotient. So what he told is this prem approach. The leader has to have this prem, that means purity, that means no expectations from that relationship. Being a leader, for your followers, you could not expect anything. Purity in the relationship with emotivism and mutuality. That means you have to connect with your followers in an emotional way. And mutuality. Mutually, the growth, the discussions. So, whatever the decisions that as a leader a person is making, that has to have mutual benefits. We all know few stories about how Abdul Kalam as a leader. Can someone story any of the story of Abdul Kalam? Can someone share any of the leadership quality and leadership stories of Abdul Kalam? Do anybody know the leadership qualities of Abdul Kalam? Somebody is trying to say something, maybe technical glitches. Okay. So let's not waste the time by taking the examples and all. It may take some time, some more time. So here, a good leader needs to adopt frame in his approach, excuse me, for effective and dignified leadership. Next, hope model of existence. So by hope model, Professor Sharma given higher order purpose of existence. Existing, being existed is not about the physical presence, it's about the mental presence also. Existence for the values, not for the object. That is what he derived hope model for existence. So in Indian ethos, it has stress that struggle for values. If you look into Ramayana also, Ramayana or Mahabharata, whatever the Puranas, if you take the people who are as a leaders, who are represented as leaders, they struggle to stay on values. So that's why still we are memorizing them. If not, we can identify them as a demons or like villains as antagonist characters, right? So that is what same thing that Professor Sharma explained about. The leader always has to retain on the values. He has to struggle to stand on the values. Here he also told about the Darwin, we know who derived the theory of existence. So he stressed struggle for existence is the Western approach. Indian thinkers always believe on struggle for values. So Darwin told that this comparison between the Indian thinkers and the Western, that we have Eastern doors, Western windows. There is a book called. So always this nowadays the organizations are looking into Western cultures. Even in India, we used to say that we are Indians, but we used to adopt the culture, 90% of the culture as Western citizens. So Indian culture is stands for values. So a leader driven by proper values is always regarded as leadership driving through productivity and people oriented. That is what he explained. So here the leader must have values. He has to struggle to retain on the values for the growth of the followers and always think about the caring. He has to be much caring about the followers. And the Veda model of leadership, it was explained. So actually the essence of Veda model. This is also an acronym wherein V stands for vision, enlightenment, devotion and action. So for translating this idea, Indian ethics and spirit of development. In practical context, the supporting model is required for sure. That is what Veda model was derived for leadership along with the management. So in this model already we have seen what it derives as acronyms. So it is interesting to note that academic literature, the many of the transformational leadership studies, many of the leadership related studies are coming very closer to this Vedas model. But here Vedas model is at the heart of Indian model, which is articulated through expressions here. So in this model, typically it's also reveals that Raja Yoga, Gnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga. So this model highly representing and supporting these four yogas, yoga for individuals. So this Veda model has given and supported these four yogas vision. Vision represents Raja Yoga and enlightenment represents Gnana Yoga, knowledge it's about, and devotion which represents Bhakti Yoga and action Karma Yoga. So thus this four yogas are the ways to implement this model. So this four are representing each individual letter of Veda. So these four margas, ways, were evolved for transferring the path of self-realization. Self-realization is most important. This self-realization also leads to emerge of several spiritual centers. That means who is typically explaining about leadership with the interlink of Bhakti and Vedanta. So this model is a combination of Bhakti and Vedanta. So this is about Veda's model. Next we have models for self-development, which is also called as self-discipline models. So earlier we discussed about the sattvic leadership, right? So during that period of that's sattvic leadership or sattvic discipline, whatever we call it as. So this was given in the Mahabharata days during Dwapara Yuga by Krishna, Lord Krishna. He told about three types of self-disciplines which has to be practiced with conviction. So let us look into the three types of this self-disciplines. First one is discipline of learning. As an individual or as a leader, the person has to have discipline for learning also. So Lord Krishna here suggested that leaders have to learn from mentors, where who can teach values which can surpass that leadership positions. Everybody is a leader. Everybody will have at least somehow leadership qualities. If someone worked as for 3 years, fourth year onwards, they may feel that they are expert in that work. So what he advised is, even though if you are a leader, you have to choose a mentor who can teach you values. You know how to work, but how to get the work and how to do the work in an ethical manner. That's what the people has to learn. That is what he spelled in the discipline of learning. So leadership here always becomes very effective when there is a willingness not only to teach but also to learn. Leadership is not only about teaching people. If we have followers, it doesn't mean I am the great leader. Again, I will have a mentor. So this leadership has to follow a certain path and This leadership has to lead to the certain things which is ethical. It's also about learning things that need to be taught. So we can believe effective leaders has to be effective learners from this discipline of learning. And next one is the discipline of speaking properly. Speaking properly is not about the clarity in speech. Here we are talking about some communication skills. Communication skills for everybody, it is very, very important, like leaders. So as well for leaders also it is very important and it has to be effective. So here effective leaders are effective, very effective in all forms of communication. That means LSRW. What does it mean? LSRW: listening, speaking, writing and reading. Okay, reading and writing. This is about LSRW. So here Lord Krishna stressed about the most important part of communication, which has to be communicate with honesty and respect towards others. This is what he represented in this point, discipline of speaking. So for leaders, if they want to be more effective, they must be able to motivate their followers. So through the speaks, that means delivery, through the delivery of speech only, they can motivate their followers in an effective manner. So they can guide them towards the vision and the goal of organizations. So many leaders use harsh words. If it comes to a leader, always they used to talk to the followers as a bossism. Harsh words will come. So here those leaders treat the employees or the followers as enemies. So this kind of the people won't be called as leaders. They has to speak in a polite manner with all respect, with all due respect. And finally, the discipline of equanimity. So this represents about calmness, gentleness, and silence. These are the self-disciplines for the mind. So this consists of consists of practice of calmness and gentleness leads to perseverance. Overly excited in times of prosperity, and that means uh, not being stable, overly depressing in the times of sorrows, cannot be an action of a leader. Being stable is always advisable. If you are in high degree of happiness, if you are in high degree of sorrow, whatever the sthita pragnata, this is a word derived from Bhagavad Gita. Sthita pragnata. Whatever is happening in and around, if you are being stable, nobody can influence you. So this is what here he represented, discipline of equanimity. When one think and act calmly at all times, the greatest of all challenges can be solved easily. So being calm always promotes some logical thinking. We should not immediately show some actions towards the other's actions. So this logical actions will undertake for logical thinking. This is what the self-discipline. So these three will motivate a person towards the self-development. That is what I would like to share with you. So this is about today's class. With this, that we have closed Unit 3. If you have any submissions, you can ask me now.